Randy Orton carries out another brutal assault. A further championship match has been made official for WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns smashes CM Punk. All this and more in this episode of This Week in WWE, What Mattered. SmackDown opened in chaos, with Jelly Roll being shown arriving at the arena, but officials ran straight past him to find that Drew McIntyre had crashed his car into Jacob Fatu's. Drew ripped out the windscreen of Jacob's car, pulled him through it, and nailed him with right hands, busting him open in the process. Drew then made his way into the arena, crashing out about how he is not in the main event of WrestleMania, and SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis called him the biggest self-sabotager he's ever known in this business. Jacob Fatu managed to push past security to continue with the brawl with Drew, which ultimately ended with him hitting a splash on him through the announce table before finally walking away. After a very short run together as a tag team, Damian Priest and R-Truth are the new WWE Tag Team Champions after defeating the MFTs. Initially it looked like they were about to win because R-Truth had the STF locked in on JC Mateo. However, Tala Tonga pulled him off and threw him into the ring apron while Solo Sikoa had the referee distracted. However, continuing their long-standing feud, the Wyatt Six fought off Solo and Tala, which allowed R-Truth to hit the Attitude Adjustment and pin JC Mateo to win the tag titles. And I have to say, Damian Priest's reaction was absolutely priceless. He looked completely surprised that he just won the tag championships with R-Truth. I'm sure he did know, but it was one of those small little moments where you see his facial reaction and you're really not sure. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he genuinely had no idea they were supposed to win that match. Kathy Kelly then interviewed Sami Zayn backstage, where she asked him how he felt about what happened to Cody last week. And Sami said the more that he tries to do the right thing, the more he feels like things just go wrong, and that he's not sure that the world that he believed in exists anymore. There was then a great segment from Randy Orton sat on a steel chair in the middle of the ring, just cutting a promo, where he started off by saying the love that the fans have given him in recent years has put a real big smile on his face. However, it's also been the emptiest he's ever felt in his career. He explained that he wants his legacy to be the amount of World Championship gold that he has had around his waist, and that Cody really took the weight off his shoulders last week when he told him to listen to the voices in his head. And he capped this off by saying the voices in his head are telling him that he's going to win at WrestleMania, defeating Cody Rhodes and become a 15-time world champion. This was a really, really great promo, building in intensity as it went along, and there's not many better in the business than Randy Orton at intense promos. You can really see the passion and the struggle and the desperation inside Randy to win this championship, and he's just tapped into that level of aggression that few other superstars can do so convincingly. Sami Zayn then faced Aleister Black, but Trick Williams was ringside and kept making his presence known as he kept getting the crowd whipped up and doing anything really to distract Sami from the match. The story of this match was really Zayn getting continuously distracted by Trick Williams, unable to focus. He hasn't been in the right headspace anyway in recent weeks, and with Trick Williams on the outside causing distractions, it just caused him to snap. So he attacked Trick on the outside, but this distraction caused him to get hit with a clean black mass and lose the match to Aleister. WWE Women's Champion Jade Cargill then formed an unlikely alliance with B-Fab and Michin to surround and beat down her WrestleMania opponent Rhea Ripley. This has certainly raised a few eyebrows, including mine, as Jade and Michin have hated Jade for a number of months now. I mean, Jade literally put Michin on the shelf for a while, but now it seems they're aligned, with Michin and B-Fab backing Jade up. And you know how the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. I can't really say it's a bad idea. It might not really make the most sense, but I feel like a twist like this was needed to really get this feud going a bit, because at the moment it's just kind of felt like Jade and Rhea back and forth being like, I'm the best, no, I'm the best, no, I'm the bad bitch, no, I'm stronger than you, I'm built for fighting. Like, it's been okay, but there's not really been any meat to sink your teeth into with this feud just yet. Ilya Dragunov then finally agreed to challenge Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship after weeks of saying that he does not deserve it. Despite this, he lost after his attempt at a powerbomb was reversed into a sunset flip pinning combination, allowing Carmelo to retain the championship. As usual with these two on SmackDown, regardless of whether it's a Carmelo match or an Ilya match, let alone when you put them together, this was a really, really high quality affair, with both men hitting each other with their best shots and not giving up. The US title scene is definitely the highlight of SmackDown from an in-ring perspective, and it has been for quite a while. Jelly Roll then tried to get through to his friend Randy Orton backstage by saying that he knows who the real Randy is, saying that championships come and go, but family and friends are forever, and he encouraged Randy to go and apologise to Matt Cardona after a previous backstage altercation earlier in the night where Randy dropped him. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this segment, but it was far too entertaining for me to leave this out. Kit Wilson called out Jelly Roll for slam poetry. He absolutely burned Jelly Roll with various little poems, poking jabs at his face tattoos, his criminal past, and his weight loss. Maybe now he can see his little willy. But Jelly retorted, "I don't have to see my willy, your mother sees it for me." I'm British, okay? Forgive me for laughing at your mama joke, I'm only human. But Kit Wilson snapped and actually attacked Jelly Roll, completely going against and contradicting his whole toxic masculinity persona, and it's actually now set up a match between the two next week on SmackDown. We then saw the Bella Twins challenge the Irresistible Forces for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. However, this match ended in disqualification with Charlotte Flair attacking Nia Jax. This was actually done to stop Nia striking Brie Bella with her Tag Team Championship, which of course would have caused a disqualification and stopped the Bellas being able to win the match. But of course, Nikki didn't see this, wasn't aware of this, so she attacked Charlotte, and chaos ensued, with the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legend laying out all four women just like they did last week. And in the final segment of the show, Randy Orton made his way to the ring yet again, this time seeming a lot more cheerful and happy, high-fiving kids along the way and just generally seeming a lot happier in himself. He said that he had an apology to make and then asked Matt Cardona to come to the ring so he could give him that apology. Randy did apologise, but then he turned around and brutally assaulted him just like he did to Cody last week. This ended with him putting Matt's arm inside a steel chair and then viciously stamping on it like those proper old school Randy Orton stomps where he'd go round one by one and slowly stomp on all of the limbs. He did that, but with a steel chair wrapped around his arm. So at this point, Nick Aldis and security are out there to try and stop the assault, and then just when you think the show's over, the Titantron pops up to see Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre brawling outside. So Nick Aldis and security make a beeline to get out the arena to go and see what's happening out there. And Drew and Jacob were actually fighting on some sort of steel balcony and scaffolding, with Nick and security unable to actually get to them because they were stuck behind some sort of fence. They could only watch as this brawl was going on. And ultimately, both men fell off it, and then the show went off the air, which I think was a pretty appropriate way to end the show, as SmackDown was pretty damn chaotic this week. Before I move on to cover this week's Monday Night Raw, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel and support me in any way that you can, whether it's subscribing, like I just said, hitting that bell for notifications, checking out any of my other content. I've recently posted two really cool videos, one of which is an unboxing of the John Cena United States Championship replica belt, which you can see behind me, and another is talking all about my experience actually going to John Cena's final ever match. So I'd really appreciate it if you could do anything you can, like this video, leave a comment down below, but anyway, let's jump onto Raw. Raw opened with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar making their way to the ring, and Paul Heyman explaining that Obafemi is just the latest overhyped superstar from the WWE hype machine, and that is going to be conquered by Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Of course, this led to Obafemi confronting him, and Brock lifted him up for an F5, but Oba was able to get off, push him towards the ropes, and viciously clothesline him outside of the ring. Brock's facial expressions here were fantastic also. His short glances between Obafemi and Paul Heyman showed that he was impressed and concerned, but not afraid. I think Brock Lesnar's character work is underrated a lot of the time, just because of the way he's been booked and his character is just this kind of beast that goes around destroying people. But he's got some fantastic facial expressions. He really knows how to sell the subtle emotions in his face. Like I said, the camera was only on his face for a few seconds, but in those few short seconds, I could see that he was taken aback by what Oba had just done to him. He was quite surprised at what happened, and showed some concern, but not fear. The World Tag Team Champions, the Usos, then took on Logan Paul and Austin Theory of the Vision in a non-title tag team match. Logan Paul was primed, pardon the pun, to use the brass knuckles, but LA Knight came out to neutralise him and threw the brass knuckles back into the ring, where Jey Uso happily used them to punch Austin Theory straight in the face, right in front of the referee, causing a disqualification. This of course meant that the Vision won, but then Jey attacked Logan Paul after the bell went as well, once again showing Jey's hot-headedness, desperation and anger and inability to control himself. Because of this, later in the evening, Paul Heyman asked Adam Pearce backstage to make a rematch between the teams for the World Tag Team Championships next week on Raw, but to make it a street fight, to which Adam said he'd take it under consideration. We then saw Becky Lynch running her mouth, doing what she does best, by saying how she made the Women's Intercontinental Championship relevant and important, and how she murdered the Divas era, to which AJ Lee really belongs to. But despite this, she's really frustrated that her daughter skips around to AJ Lee's theme song. AJ Lee then came out to confront Becky and said that she has dog-walked her every time they've been in the ring together, and maybe she just needs to embarrass her one more time, so offered her a Women's Intercontinental Championship match for WrestleMania 42. Becky was laughing about this and saying how AJ fell into her trap. She accepted the championship match and said that she was going to run AJ out of the WWE just like the last time she appeared at WrestleMania, where she resigned shortly afterwards. I think we could all see this is where this was going. It's definitely the biggest match you can possibly have for that belt at WrestleMania. But as I said previously, I am quite intrigued to see who's going to win here, because AJ has quite literally dog-walked Becky so far every single time they've been in the ring, so I would not be surprised if Becky wins the title back at WrestleMania. Paul Heyman then forgot they had some scheduled TV time, and in the middle of the ring called out Seth Rollins, who appeared on the announce table removing his hood and mask. I'm not quite sure why he keeps wearing this, as we all know that it's him. But anyway, it was just a trap for Paul Heyman to have Seth escorted away by police, as he seemingly had a restraining order put in place a few days prior. And this bit made me laugh because Paul Heyman was just running his mouth on the mic as the police were escorting Seth out of the arena. And at one point he was boasting about how all the men in his family are snitches and they get restraining orders on people and they sue people. I just found it so funny that he's just so shameless. And Paul kept going on and on like he always does. However, he crossed the line when he mentioned Seth's daughter, to which point Seth ran away from the police, got into the ring and clobbered him with a right hand. Dominic Mysterio was then making his way to the ring to challenge Penta for the Intercontinental Championship, and he was of course accompanied by his girlfriend, Liv Morgan, who got attacked viciously from behind by Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer. This led to a short but really entertaining brawl between the two, which I have to say is one of the best and most legitimate looking brawls I've actually seen on WWE TV in quite a long time. Penta was able to successfully defend his Intercontinental Championship as Finn Balor's music hit to cause a distraction to Dominic Mysterio, who was on the top rope at the time. Finn came out and attacked JD McDonough, and then after Penta retained his title and won the match, he also attacked Dom as well. This seems to be leading hopefully for a match between Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor at WrestleMania, where I personally hope that Finn wins and we can really re-establish him as a big babyface. The end of the night then saw the OTC Roman Reigns beat down CM Punk. He threw him face first into the ring post and powerbombed him through the announce table. And this all came about because CM Punk spent loads of time in the ring just running his mouth and completely rage baiting Jey Uso. And Jimmy had already pre-warned Punk before he walked out to the ring to be careful about what he said, because Jey is on a warpath tonight. And all Punk did was goad him and goad him and goad him. Jimmy came out to try and calm Jey down, tried to get him away from the situation and show his frustration at Jey for costing them their match earlier in the night, before Roman Reigns came out to the ring and asked them as respectfully as he could to leave his ring. And as the Usos were leaving, Jey was screaming at Roman, "You know what to do, you know what to do," and Roman just snapped, and that's when he started beating down CM Punk. And after Reigns had left Punk lying on the announce table, we saw a close-up of Punk on the floor, and he was laughing. He was like sadistically laughing, as if this was the plan all along to get Roman to snap. And whilst he was being asked for help, clearly he would want some help after being beaten down like that, he was just laughing and saying, "I'm not the one that needs help," and then groaning in pain. This feud continues to escalate brilliantly as we move closer and closer to WrestleMania. I think we always knew there was a lot of potential here with a feud between Punk and Reigns, but it's been so entertaining week by week on Raw, especially when Roman is there as well to help build this forward as we get closer to Vegas. Although Roman proved here that he doesn't need his family, I can't help but think that this is leading to a Bloodline reunion. It seems that a lot of water has passed under the bridge since the fallout and the dissension of the original Bloodline. Since then, other people have come for their family, like CM Punk, and you could see that when people attack their family, they come together. Blood is thicker than water. And I suspect that Roman is going to try and take advantage of Jey's hot-headedness and his pure loyalty for his family. So if I was going to make an educated guess, I would say that Roman is going to be able to easily influence Jey to almost be his right-hand man all over again. Jimmy's not going to like this one bit. He's going to try and talk some sense into Jey, but Jey's not going to listen to him, and ultimately Jimmy will fall in line as well, and we're going to have the original Bloodline back together. And in some ways, if you step back and think about it, we're really not that far away. The Usos have already got the World Tag Team Championships, and Roman is challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, so we could quite easily in a few weeks' time be seeing a reformed Bloodline with all the gold. And that's it for this week's video. If you did enjoy it, as I said previously, please do whatever you can to support me and my channel, and stay tuned for some future content that's coming out, such as April 7th, when my first ever replica belt review video is dropping, which is a review of the WWE Championship Spinner Belt. And this is a brand new series that I'm going to be posting each and every month until I've covered all 16 of my WWE Championship replica belts. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, or you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel, head over there and check out my other content. But until next time, see you later.